Hello, hope you're well. This is a very neat little tip I'm going to share with you now. Specifically, I can see it being used where you're talking about the bigger picture or the whole process. But having described that, you then want to be able to drill down and become a little bit more detailed about certain aspects of that overall picture. So I'm starting off with a map. Obviously, this makes the example quite easy. So I dropped on an image here of any old map from my favourite website for images called unsplash.com. There are no copyright issues and it's free. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that image. Then I'm going to format the background. If I click on picture fill, then what I've done by cutting that map is I've basically stored it on my clipboard. So when I click on the clipboard, that map is now the background. So it won't move at all. It is set there as the background. Right, the next thing we need to do is insert a shape. It can be any shape. I'm just going to go with a circle. If I hold Control down, it will keep it in proportion. I hope that's what's happened there. So now I've just inserted any old shape. I need to format that. So in order for it to sort of stand out a little bit against the map, I'm going to make the outline black and I'm going to make it much larger, 4 points. The actual center of that shape, and this is the first part of the cleverness, is I'm going to check on slide background fill. So it's lost its color and it is now basically acting as a clear lens on the background, which means if I move it, it's going to adjust every time so that you can see the background. Let's move it back over the 73 motorway. So that's the first part of what we need to do. We've got that lens. Now I am going to introduce some animation. So I want this to not be there initially, and then on a click it's going to appear. The most realistic way, I think, is to make the initial entrance animation a wheel. You can see it looks like someone is actually drawing that on. So we have that first animation. If we look at the animation pane, you can see that there. I need to add a second one, so I'm going to add animation, and this is going to be grow shrink. In our case, we're going to make it grow, so that second animation is there, and you can see that's bringing out the detail from below. What I also need to do, what you need to do when you're doing it, is make sure that that starts after previous, so that the circle is going to be drawn, and then automatically we're going to see the magnified image behind it. So if we look at that in slideshow mode, there's our map. I can give the overall conversation. I click, it highlights that area and then allows me to show in greater detail what is behind it. So really useful, really very, very useful. The other nice thing is if I copy that and click on my second slide, which is a very basic blueprint, and paste. I don't want to paste it as a picture. I want to paste it using the destination theme. Then as you can see there, if I move it, it's still doing the same thing. So the background is still the slide background itself. I have the same animation. So when I click on this to slideshow, again, it's automatically carried through. So not much work involved to make that work successfully. And obviously, well, not obviously, but the default is a magnification of 150. So if we go into that and I click on the effect options, then you can see it's 150. I'll just change that so we can see let me make it, if I use that and make it 500. Click OK, move it to there, say, come back to here, then the magnification is going to be so much bigger. Now obviously you need to make sure that the image quality is good so that when you do blow that up to such a degree, it's still legible. But hopefully you'll agree that it's relatively straightforward, great potential for when you want both big picture and small detail. Have fun with that.